Good morning, guys. Happy Friday. It's the 15th of August, and I hope everyone is doing well. Friday, finally again. Feel like the weeks literally just fly by. I don't know if anyone else feels the same. But yeah, man, we are midway through August now, which is crazy. So before we get into this daily market outlook, I just want to mention that the content on this channel is for educational and informational purposes only. I'm not a financial advisor, and nothing shared in my video should be considered financial, investment, or trading advice. Trading and investing involves risk, and you should always conduct your own research before making any financial decisions. And understand that any past results, does not guarantee any past results. You are always responsible for your own financial decisions. So, with that being said, let's get into the markets and see what is going on. I've been not messing around, that's the wrong thing to say, but I've been like loving the way that the JPY pairs are moving. I know it's a bit random, but I've just been really enjoying the way that the JPY pairs have actually been moving. I've been paying a lot more attention to the JPY basket, which I'll talk about if you want me to. But obviously, before we do that, we'll go over the major pairs like usual. But yeah, man. So as always, we're going to start off with the dollar. In fact, I haven't even gone over the news. My apologies. Friday, 15th of August, we have red folder news, core retail sales at 2:30 my time, so it should be 1:30 UK time. And then 4 p.m. we basically have more news as well. So something to obviously keep an eye on with inside of the markets going into today. Highly advise that you guys are always making sure that you're on the so you're understanding the news before you actually look at the charts. So pretty much the same as yesterday. You can see daily time frame, higher low, higher high. We're in this deeper retracement on inside this daily demand area. Now, one thing that stuck out to me is if you look at the trend that's going on right now, this on a daily time frame, but you can see that this would be a 4-hour trend pretty much as well. We created this lower high and this lower low. Now, first thing that I notice is if we just pull, this away and have a look at the charts, you can see that we've got this daily supply area. But if we go down to the lower time frames, which I will do now, you'll be able to notice that the market has basically tapped into from what I've seen, the only imbalance on the 1 hour that I could see. So again, this is the 4, see a slight imbalance here from this area. But if I just drop down to the 1, you should be able to see that this is in fact, it's our only, from what I can see, pretty much the closest supply area that we currently have. And that's why we've been getting the market, dumping away from here. We've taken out the highs on here, taken out that liquidity. Let's mark this red, and then obviously filled in the rest of this imbalance, and then we've had this movement away. So, looking at the market currently, it's going to be interesting to see what happens as of right now. And the reason I'm saying that is because for me, overall trend, if you look from a macro perspective, you can see that the market, you just follow, we are creating their waves. You can see that the market is, in that downwards trend. And these blue lines represent the 4-hour, but on the daily time frame. So yes, looking at this, you can see that we have the internal structure. You can see the market obviously created this internal structure here, and then we've had this movement away. So, and we're inside of this daily demand. So what I am trying to say is I'm expecting two scenarios. We dump away from where we're currently at, we just carry on melting down, or I would like to make a decision from, around this area here and see how the market reacts, because if you look at this, you're thinking, well, the market is literally just like it's melting away, and it's creating obviously the lower highs and lower lows and lower highs and so on and so on. But you'll be able to notice that internal structure, which is the 1 hour, has been from here, you can see, has been creating, that trend where you're creating them lower highs, lower lows, and then we've had this change of trend. So because it had this change of trend on the 1 hour inside of the daily demand, could this now be the catapult to go and create the next leg of the daily higher high? So that is a thought that I have currently. So it's going to be interesting. going into next week to see how the markets play out. Are we just going to dump away, or are we going to get some sort of reaction from here? Now, Euro USD, obviously the same scenario, but vice versa. You guys should be able to see we've got the lower high, the lower low on the daily, and then obviously we're inside of this daily supply area, filled in all the imbalance. But if you look again from the naked eye, you can see that the internal structure is, you can see higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, and then we've just retraced and now moving. Let's mark this out. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high. Could this now be a higher low to go and create a higher high? So that is obviously one thought. That's why these blue lines represent that 4-hour trend. And obviously you guys should be able to notice that yesterday I said about this demand area being our next area to look out for, which now you guys can see works out beautifully. So yeah, same scenario as the dollar. Are we going to see the market just carry on in this uptrend and obviously do that? Or should we focus on the fact that if you focus on the internal structure, you can see that the market has obviously been creating, there's obviously the uptrend, failed to create a higher high, we had this dump off, market retraced, and obviously now you can see that the market is inside this 1-hour supply. So is this going to be the catapult to basically just carry this trend on downwards? Because again, 4-hour is bullish, meaning this area, but yes, this 1-hour internal structure is bearish. So we have to understand and we have to be careful with obviously what we're going to be doing in this scenario, because daily is bearish and the 1-hour is bearish. So that could potentially be like this area here, which we gave out yesterday. That could potentially be 12 pips. Which is a 1 to 5, nearly 1 to 5.5 almost, could be where the market just carries on dumping from. So is this next area here going to be, the market just going to obviously carry on and do its thing, where it's just going to melt away and just carry this 1-hour structure on? Let's see what happens. But yeah, man, interesting. Pardon me. Now going into GU, obviously daily time frame is the same as EU, but we did tap above this high, taking out this liquidity. We're still in that daily supply zone, and we're still obviously messing around in here. Let me just look at the daily quickly again. Now the day looks a little bit different, because if we just obviously got the 4-hour structure from the daily, you can see that this was higher high, higher low, higher high. So it's a little bit different, as in the fact that this is still a range from here. But if you drop down to the 4, you can see that the market is, well, it didn't quite tap in. Didn't quite tap into that demand area. If you would have marked this whole area out, it would have. But you know me, I would like to see the last sell candle in a bullish scenario. But yeah, we got this bullish movement away right now. So again, uptrend on the 4 hours, pretty simple, pretty clear. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, potentially higher low to go and create a new higher high potentially. Now, of course, let's look at what the 1 hour is doing. And if this aligns with if this aligns with the dollar, then going bullish from here, then of course we can expect bearishness from this potential. We've got imbalance still to fill. So it'd be interesting to see when the dollar gets in that area, if GU's in this area as well, do we get this scenario? But as of right now, pardon me, we are bullish from this 4 hour still. Still. But if you look at this, actually, I've just noticed that's a 1 hour supply. But if you look at that, that's my 4 hour. So let's go off the 4 hour supply here. So yeah, you can see how close we are to this demand, and it lines up with how close we are to this supply on GU. So yeah, let's see. Now going into AUD USD. You'll be able to obviously notice same scenario. We have this daily downtrend, this daily structure, this daily range. We have this 4 hour supply, which I talked about. And then if you look at this, that is much more of a beautiful reaction to indicate that we should be looking for sells. Obviously, we didn't quite get the same reaction on US dollar or EU and GU, but on AU, we have a nice institutional engulfing candle, which usually means that the market is going to be seeking bearish movement. And that is away from a valid 4-hour supply area. So if you look, this 4-hour supply area here. Now, one thing I want you guys to notice is if I just go back to the daily time frame, I just want you guys to focus on the fact that, obviously we need to follow what the dollar does. We need to follow what the dollar does. But we can't ignore the fact that this is a valid demand area. And we're still in this area getting that bullishness away. So it's going to be interesting to see where the market reacts from on AUD USD, because are we just going to carry on bullish, or are we going to see if we can potentially get into this supply area here and then make that movement away if that aligns with the dollar doing the same from this demand area. So be interesting to see if we can get that. Of course, the way that these pairs move, by the time the dollar gets even into here and makes a decision what it's going to do, we could have AUD USD all the way up here. So again, when I'm giving out scenarios, I'm not just giving it out saying it's 100%. Everything depends on, for me, where the dollar is. If the dollar is then making a move from here and AUD USD is blown through this area and it's in this zone, again, that's what we've got to focus on. What is the dollar doing? So that's what I've got for that. Either we carry on bullish from here or we do get some sort of reaction. So again, as of right now, bulls, in control from here. And then this is your issue area 1 and issue area 2. So what that basically means is if you can find a lower time frame entry and we carry on bullish from here, you got to keep an eye out on this area first. And if we do get a break above, that should give you confidence that we broke issue area 1. And then issue area 2 would be this area here, because this could be the catapult to just dump away. But if we do obviously carry on bullish, then again, you would have caught a beauty of a trade. NZUSD, let's see what she is doing. Let's see what she's doing. So we didn't quite get that 4-hour supply tapped as we would like. Sorry, should I say. So we have this daily range. Let me just show you. We have this daily range still, same as AU, but we didn't quite get into that supply zone that I had on a 4, but we did tap into filling majority of this imbalance. Now, again, we've had the same institutional candle away, which is exact same as AUD USD, but nothing significant has, obviously happened apart from on the 4-hour, where if you look at the 4, we've now officially broken this range, because for me, focusing on the pattern here, you can see that just like a wave pattern, you can see the market has obviously been bullish. Now the market has dipped below, so could we see now the market retrace and carry on downwards? So my scenario for this would be, can I see some sort of deeper retracement basically to here, 4-hour supply? That would be one scenario, but of course, again, if the dollar is bullish, bearish, should I say, from here, we can expect obviously NZUSD to continue to be bullish from this scenario. So yeah, obviously it's not the cleanest, but still, if the dollar's bearish, we can look for scenarios on bullish with NZUSD. Now, of course, if I probably go down to the 1-hour, you'll be able to notice that there is probably zones where the market can react from. Yes, we're in this little area still here, this candle here. Is that enough for me to sell from? Well, probably on the lower time frames, potentially if it aligns with the dollar, but the dollar's not in this demand. So for me, what that basically means is I would expect a deeper retracement. Let's say the dollar is in the demand area, we would then look for potentially this supply area to see if NZUSD is going to react from here. So yeah, man, hopefully this is making sense to you guys. As you can probably see, NZ and AU are not moving as nice as I would like personally. I might as well say as always, literally. But yeah, man, looking at USD CAD, looking pretty clean, moved away from this demand area. One thing I want you guys to focus on is We obviously had this movement away. We then obviously created this little institutional engulfing candle here. So if you look at that, that's giving me confidence that if the dollar was to stay bullish, then I would be happy to long USD CAD as well. But on the other side, understand that we have just filled in this imbalance as well from here. So from a bullish scenario, if I drop down to the 4, you can see that the market has pretty much gone from obviously dumping off, then obviously coming back up, reacting from here, and now we've had this movement here. So if it aligns with the bullishness that we, say can potentially happen from here with the US dollar, then USD CAD, I would be liking this area here. So basically, see if we can get that reaction to then go and create a high. On USD CAD, to be fair, I only like the bullish scenario from here. Yes, we've taken out all these highs with this move, but again, that's just me being picky with USD CAD. So yeah, let's mark this out. We have this area here as our 4-hour range. We'll make that blue. And there. So yeah, USD CHF, a little bit different. I didn't really like the look of USD CHF, to be fair with you guys. But yeah, we've been ranging, so that's why I'm not really like the look of it. I've not really talked about it, I don't think, this week on these calls. So yeah, man, I'm not gonna just talk about it for the fun of it. Of course, what you can see is we have got this 4-hour range here. The market's coming to this 1-hour supply and started to move away, but for me, I'm just not interested in USD CHF at this moment. Now, I'm going to go over to USD Japanese yen, but before I do, I'm going to talk about the Japanese yen basket. Obviously, it's the same as obviously the US dollar basket, but of course, this is for the Japanese yen currency. So I like to mark this up, and you guys will probably be able to notice now that I utilize the dollar for the major pairs. I utilize the Japanese yen currency the same way. So looking at this right now, you can see that the market was obviously heavily downtrending. But for me, if you look at this scenario, you can see that we have this internal structure here, creating these lower lows and lower highs. Then we obviously slowed down, started consolidating, and then we had this institutional order, this institutional candle here. Now, with this institutional candle, markets pull back into this daily demand block, not the wick, but into the block. And now we're slowly starting to move away. So could this be the catapult to see the Japanese yen potentially go bullish? That's what I was thinking. And if you look at the 4-hour aligned perfectly as well. So the 4-hour came into this scenario. If you look, let me just do it from here: lower low, lower high, lower low, consolidated, started to move away, and then we had this institutional push. Where's the market come back into? Well, this 4-hour demand area filled in the rest of this imbalance, and then slowly starting to move away as we speak. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Now, of course, that means I'm obviously interested in bulls from the Japanese yen pair. Let's just mark this out. From the Japanese yen currency, should I say. So you can see that we've got on here. But one thing that's obviously just happening right now is we're slowing down inside of this supply area. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Of course, we're not broken this high, but yes, I'm interested in bulls from here. Then obviously we go to the USD Japanese yen, USD Japanese yen pair. You can see it's the complete opposite. You can see how it's more downtrending, whilst Japanese yen is obviously more bullish. So that helps me understand exactly the way that I analyze the dollar to EU and GU and so on and so on. I do the same with USD Japanese yen. So looking at this scenario, of course, let's go to Japanese yen. You can see we have this bullish, whereas on USD Japanese yen, we also have this bullish, but we've had this movement down. Now, what I'm trying to say with that is, where did the market potentially come back into? Well, it pretty much filled in the imbalance here. Where is that gone? it's pretty much filled in all of this imbalance here, come back, and then we had this dump off. So, you know, we did tap into this demand, but for me, aligning with the Japanese yen basket, it made sense to obviously look for shorts. So as you guys can currently see, we were bullish, and then we've had this big dump off. Now, following from here, you can see that we failed to react from this supply. We went straight through because we come in to fill in this imbalance and then tap into this 1 hour supply. Now, as you guys can see, currently as of right now, you used to just be looking to sell from this area. It's done around a 1 to 4, I think. Yeah, almost at a 1 to 4, which is a pretty clean idea. Again, if we carry on to this liquidity low, it'll be around a 1 to 5.5 to 1 to 6, should we say. So for me personally, it's going to be interesting to see if the market does, you know, obviously just carry on downwards. Or of course, let's see if what reaction we get from this demand area. But I do favor the sells from here, of course, because the bullishness from here. So yeah, man, hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Yeah, that's pretty much it for today. It's Friday, of course, so we will be catching up on Monday with a new daily market outlook. If you want to stay connected with myself, make sure that you guys, of course, you know, are inside of my Telegram group, which is completely for free. And then also make sure that you guys are inside, bloody hell. Make sure that you guys are following my Instagram and obviously subscribed on this channel. I usually notify people inside my Telegram, but I'm not doing that anymore because I believe people have to take a bit of independency, because it should be notified by me that I've got a YouTube video up. You should have your notification buttons turned on. So make sure that you have done that if you are missing out on these, because I'm not uploading it into my Telegram anymore. Other than that, guys, take care. God bless. Have an amazing weekend. And Manchester United are going to win this weekend against Arsenal, God willing. Take care.